The work at hand for this man, Jim Kropfeld on the Budweiser, is simple. If he comes in first place, gets 400 points, he'll whittle away at that lead for Chip Hanauer. This is Ron Snyder in the Holset Miss Madison. Budweiser heading out already on the very, very choppy waters of Lake Mead. Todd Yarling in the Miss Avia heading out onto the course, and Jerry Hopp qualifying this boat, the 7, which is the Nevada Palace for 1986. George Johnson driving the Oberto. And again, Todd Yarling out of Hanover, Indiana, driving the Miss Avia. Jerry Hopp and the Nevada Palace out of the Seattle area. Ron Snyder, the Holset Miss Madison, veteran driver. And, of course, Jim Kropfeld trying to get, somehow, enough points to win it. There's the rundown. The Bud, the Madison, the Avia, the Oberto, and also the Nevada Palace, which is a late entry. And there's the Budweiser at the gun, and he is right on the button as he already has a commanding lead over the second-place boat, the Holset Miss Madison and Ron Snyder. The Budweiser going into the first turn. It's the south turn on this 2.5-mile course. As I said, very wide turns, too, at about 1,000 feet, enough to keep plenty of boat speed as they go down the back chute. The Budweiser now trailing the Miller American. If indeed he can get 400 points, would be only a 169-point lead for the Miller American. Ron Snyder in second place in the Holset Miss Madison. That's Jerry Hopp on the inside in the Nevada Palace. Some of the sailboats, and then, of course, the desert in the background. I don't know if we're going to be able to get enough racing in here today or not because of the weather conditions. Look at the Budweiser flying around in that rough water again in that north turn. It's really a question mark if we'll be able to get in 2 more preliminary heats. Look how gray it is in the background. And then a final heat. But the Budweiser in first place with Jim Kropfeld with 14 career victories coming into this one. In second place is Ron Snyder out of Piqua, Ohio. Don't know if this boat will be retired at the end of this season or not. There's some talk about it. We'll have to wait and see in 1987. Budweiser in first place. The water turning gray as the storm clouds coming in from up above, even though there is some sun peeking through, glaring off the Budweiser. Kropfeld out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Chip Hanauer can only watch, helplessly somewhat, as he watches the Budweiser go by. Snyder again in second place. What an up and down year it has been for him. There's the Miss Avia. Todd Yarling unable to get this engine started in the Miss Avia. Jerry Hopp is running, however, and can pick up some more points here as he competes. He drove the Miss Madison back in Philadelphia when Ron Snyder was still injured. He suffered a lot of bruises and bangs when he was thrown out of the boat back in Evansville, Indiana, you might recall, back in July. It takes a long time to heal from bruises that you can acquire when you're thrown out of a boat at better than 100 miles per hour. Kropfeld, though, strapped in with that 5-point safety belt system, the enclosed canopy off an F-16 fighter. This boat, I don't know if it'll run next year or not. A brand new Budweiser turbine is waiting in Seattle. This is George Johnson, also out of Seattle, in the Oberto. Art Oberto, the sponsor of the boat. Snyder still holding on to second place and trying to get 300 points. Better than 121,000 people. That's the official count for the crowd today. Very good crowd in this, the first race in over 25 years on Lake Mead, as the Thunderboats return to the state of Nevada. Budweiser, let's get a speed way down. 95 miles per hour for the Budweiser, 89 for the Holset Miss Madison. Now keep in mind, on a 2.5-mile course, a good average speed would be around 130. So you know the conditions are horrible right now due to the wind and the storm clouds coming in. Jerry Hopp again. Al Thorson, the crew chief, co-owner, along with Jerry Hopp. Look at the Budweiser rocking on the tips of the spotsons as he goes down the back chute, going very slow. This is a smooth water boat. This boat, in this case, is perfectly made. The Holset Miss Madison, it can handle just about any kind of water conditions. But this particular Budweiser is strictly a smooth water boat, and it can run into a lot of problems like that as he hooks it. The tips of the spotsons almost going under. Look at Kropfeld, though. He's keeping the engine running. It's still going. He's in first place. All he has to do is get down to the finish line now, and he'll win this race and get the 400 points. Flirting with danger, even catastrophe. Somehow, Kropfeld keeps it going. Here he comes to finish Heat 1B and get 400 points. The national point lead for the Miller American, now only 169 points. So the Budweiser, somehow, Kropfeld pulling it out of that turn to get the 400 beans. Holset Miss Madison a steady second at 300 points. Nevada Palace third. The Miss Avia unable to start, and the Oberto is black flag. Down to the pits with Jim Kropfeld.
Jim Kropfeld, a rough ride, and with the green flag in sight, you almost lost the boat. What happened down there?
Oh, well, there's so many rollers down in that turn 3 that just as you start to turn into it at about a fourth of the way through, you just launch right off like you're going off the end of a ski jump, and at the same time, the side of your boat's into the wind and air gets underneath, and it just flipped me around, and I nosedived in, and luckily I got the ignition back on, and the air door shut to keep the water out and kept it going. And it's bad out there, but whew, I guess everything held together good for the Budweiser team.
And now 169 points more to go in this final race of the year. You have a strategy set?
No, we have to wait until the draw and see what happens. And, of course, our strategy is to go out and win, and whatever it takes to do that, we're going to do it.
In the meantime, the weather continues to deteriorate. We may not race anymore today.
They just put a hold on the heat.
Now, there you have it. The officials have called it off in the meantime. The rescue boats heading back in off Lake Mead, and the crowd of 120,000 must wait. Jim Hendrick, do you have any more word on the conditions?
Yes, we do, Don. We have further word. And to make it official, here's the Commissioner, Don Jones. Don, exactly what's going on?
Yes, Jim. Chief Referee Lee Chanis has delayed the race pending the water conditions at this time, which make it unsafe for the boats to go out.
If you don't run today, where do you go from there?
Well, we'll just have to wait for the weather improves, and whether we continue this afternoon or tomorrow will be based upon the weather conditions.
And that's the latest word, Don. Back up to you.
All right, Jim, so it's time to batten down the hatches and wait for the weather to clear. We'll return in just a moment.